why Dennis Schroeder isn't an all-star. So Dennis Schroeder, this is not all like a read like some sort of slight against you. Dennis Schroeder is actually one of my favorite point guards in the league. A guy who I think my personal style of play is in some sense similar to his in aspects. I do think he has all-star capability. This is really the reason why I even brought the topic, because I think Dennis Schroeder has the capabilities to be an all-star in this league, but he hasn't. And just kind of like, if I had to say my reason as to why that's the case, because he's a guy who's had great showings against some of your best players, some of your favorite players, some of the best players. He's played very well. In recent time, just as an example, to Dennis Schroeder's game, he recently against Memphis, October 30th, he had 33 points and 8 assists on 11 out of 14 field goals. This is all-star numbers, right? Against Ja Morant. This is, all-star. Again, November 4th, against Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, 20 points, 6 assists. So these are all-star numbers, against, the elite player, you know what I'm saying? An elite player, in terms of the matchup. So he's shown that he can play at an all-star level, but why isn't it that he's getting that nod during the all-star breaks and stuff? To me, I think it's the consistency factor. He does show some signs of inconsistency a lot of times. In my personal opinion, I think that he can be inconsistent with his play, and like for instance, I'm gonna give you a timeline from October 3rd to November 4th. So October 23rd against Atlanta, and this is in 34 minutes, 13 points, 5 for 16 from the field, 7 assists. Decent, kind of game, right? In the next game, against Orlando, 32 minutes, 20 points, 7 of 12 shooting, 6 assists. Good game. Very good game. Next game against Milwaukee, 29 points in 35 minutes, 8 for 15 from the field, 6 assists. Very good game. All-star game. Next game, 28 points, 42 minutes versus Denver Nuggets, 14 assists. All-star game. Next game, Memphis Grizzlies, 34 minutes, 33 points, 11 for 14 from the field, 8 assists. All-star. So he had 4 games of all-star numbers. Now we get to November 1st, Chicago, 33 minutes. Same time, 9 points, 4 for 12 from the field, 7 assists. See the drop off. Then the next game against Detroit, 33 minutes, 7 points, 4 assists, 3 for 7 from the field in 33 minutes. Drop off. And then recently, November 4th versus Memphis, 34 minutes, 20 points, 7 for 15 from the field, 6 assists. So good game. So that's the thing with Dennis Schroeder is mainly the consistency thing. He can be inconsistent with his numbers and his productivity, and I think that's what is kind of like the thing for him is the consistency. Can he show that consistent high level of play? You know what I'm saying? Um, Throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're gonna have some bad games. I'm not gonna take away. You're gonna have some bad games. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna like the two games he had that I mentioned, uh, versus Chicago, where he had 9.7 assists, Detroit 7.4 assists. It's going, I mean, if you're an all-star, really, really all. I mean, these kind of games will happen, but it's rare, very rare. Out of 82 games, this should only happen like if you're an all-star, right? You're a perennial all-star. This should happen like out of 82 games, maybe 4 or 5 times the whole season. I'm gonna give it that. Like, have about 4 or 5 games you played, put up numbers like that. If you're an all-star, other than that, you shouldn't. It shouldn't be that. You shouldn't be looking like this. You should, you know, shouldn't be 7 points, 4 assists, 3 for 7 from the field. Like, nah. But you know, you know, if this is happening 10, maybe 20 times in a season, that's not all-star, in my opinion. You can be a very good player, just not an all-star. If you're putting these kind of numbers up, maybe 10 to 20 games in a season. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. But like I said, I think Dennis Schroeder's having a very good season. It's probably the highest minutes he's ever played in his career. I think that's part of why he's having a lot of success with the Brooklyn Nets. He's getting 35 minutes, 34.8 minutes a game, which, rounds up to 35 minutes. He's averaging 19.9 points, so 20 points a game with 3 rebounds and 7.2 assists. So he's averaging 20 and 7. It's very good. That's all-star numbers. If he can maintain these numbers throughout the season, and Brooklyn Nets are let's say a 4 or 5 seed team, I think he has a very good chance of making his first all-star game. But again, the consistency has to be there, and he gotta put this Brooklyn team into a good playoff seeding position. And if he does that, I do believe he will make an all-star game.